All right, welcome everybody. It's Media Day here up at Oliphant Street Field, the Little Rose Bowl, and Butch Pedersen Field. And we are starting out with head coach Butch Pedersen. Another year, Butch. Everything's different every year. What's different about this year?
Well, one of the things that's different is our field is certainly in a lot better shape than it was a year ago. And it's going to be about 85% this year. Then next year it's going to be back to where it was. Alex Krafka was rehired he's from Solon and does a splendid job, and Tony Signo's been helping him, and Joe Wagner's been helping him. So he's been getting a lot of extra information, and I'm really pleased with Marty and Jake that they understood that the field was not satisfactory last year, and they've got it fixed.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It feels awesome. A few spots every now and then, but I think by next year it'll be ready to go. You got the same schedules last year, just reverse. You know who you're playing, but you got a whole different team this year.
We do. We're a lot different than we have been. We're still trying to, put the pieces together. We don't really know exactly what we're going to do in certain areas, but we think that we have and should have enough depth this year to let people play and get some rest in there once in a while. And we're not going to have to keep them out there the entire game. We can take them out and get somebody else in there. And we're not going to drop off much when we get that second person in there.
And I think that's an important aspect with this team is the depth that you developed and the quality, and just seeing the size of the kids coming through. One thing that depth will really help out is on your special teams. You can really load up on special teams.
Yeah, we can, and we can take some of our starters on offense and defense and take them off. And we always kind of consider our special teams or our starters too. I mean, you're out there in the field, you're a starter on the kickoff team, for example. That's a big deal. And we really try to stress that, and Kevin Braddock does that every day of the week.
Well, and everybody that shows up at practice plays. That's the nice thing on Friday night, is you know that you're going to get in the game. Looking ahead at your schedule, the first 3 games the first 2 games are going to be tough. So you got to be prepared right out of the bat.
There's no question Lisbon's going to be a tremendous football team. We beat them last year in a close game up there, and then they made a big, long run in the playoffs. And we expect them to be extremely tough, and we're really excited about that game, and we have a lot of respect for Lisbon. And then the second game is Waterloo, Columbus in Waterloo, and that's certainly going to be a challenge. They beat us down here last year, and they have basically their entire team back. So it'll be a challenge on the first 2 games.
And every year, we either do the honor to the veterans or the throwback. This year is the throwback jersey that's going to entail the Fighting Quakers, the Polar Bears, and the West Branch Bears. We're going to have a display down at the Rummel Center going about the memories of Oliphant Street Field. But Dave McRath does such a great job with those throwback and veteran games.
Yeah, he does. He's got he's done a lot of things for us football-wise, and this year is going to be just the same. We're going to try to bring a lot of people back. Roger Dyan, our high school football coach, is, hopefully going to draw some of his players back, and we hope that's going to be a big night.
Yeah, that throwback game, it'll be the 3rd game of the season, and we're going to honor Roger Hansen, who coached in the 60s, coach of the 66 championship team, and then coached again in the 70s. So he's a fella I know that affected you, affected me, affected a lot of kids that came through West Branch.
There's no question. Roger was a former Marine DI and came down here, and the first 9 weeks of PE class, all we did is march on the field. We became really good marchers on the field, and he conditioned us extremely hard and had a lot of discipline, and a lot of his behavior and a lot of his technique stuff. We do, to this day, we still use a lot of that stuff.
About the only thing different is the field conditions. Where we used to practice used to be an old hay field, and you guys got pretty good conditions compared to what you played in.
Yeah, we're going to, in fact, after this is done today, we're going down to Max Lodge Field, and we're going to have our picture taken on Hell's Half Acre. And they're going to have their jerseys on down there, and it's going to be a fun time, and that's in tribute to Roger. There's no doubt about that. And all the players who played on that field, we have oat stubble fields. Oh, yeah. And you lay down the oats, and the coaches couldn't even find you, but they finally did, and then they stepped right in the middle of your belly and told you, here I am.
How do you see this team developing cohesive-wise? I know that being a family and forming that bond is important, and usually that's led by your seniors. how's the chemistry coming along?
Real good. They have great attitudes. The seniors need to step up and be even more leaders. They're kind of quiet group, and they need to improve in that area and become a little more vocal. But we do have some underclassmen that are very vocal, and we're trying to tell everybody from the first person to the last person on the team can always be the leader. You don't have to be a senior just to be a leader.